Good afternoon on what is a very warm, bright and sunny day. It is Thursday the 15th of June. I've got a nice hot cup of tea and a box to continue unboxing. And the first thing I'm going to pull out of here is a bit of an oddity. It is a set of Scrubs. A solo role-playing game by CM Lowry. It is published by Beyond Cataclysm Games, and a set of Scrubs. You are a set of Scrubs. Inhabit them through the regular change of wearers. Witness the wonder, sadness, and drudgery that is the hospital experience. Your material will be stained, ripped, repaired, and eventually discarded. A solo role-playing game based upon the loot and lost and found system. So you do occasionally find some odd subjects for role-playing games. And being a doctor is not that odd. For example, there is the MASH role-playing game where you play surgeons and staff of a mobile army surgical hospital in the Korean War. But I think it's possible, this is one of the few role-playing games where you play as an item of clothing, i.e., you are essentially role-playing and journaling about the life of these scrubs that a doctor or nurse wears, whilst on duty at a hospital. So you will be following around, or basically be carried around by this medical practitioner, witnessing what he or she does as part of his or her daily routine, which makes for a very odd experience. Essentially, it's like carrying out emergency medical treatment, but at a remove. So, another thing it does come with this nice little bookmark, and you actually get on there a table, D10 clinical procedures. It's interesting that all the games from Beyond Cataclysm include this extra bookmark. Really, sort of like, this is not a book which requires a bookmark, but it's a nice extra addition, because it's a bit too short for that. So welcome to the half-cut hospital trust. Due to an unfortunate budgeting shortfall, we are sadly no longer able to provide separate uniforms for porters, nurses, doctors, or even patients. Everyone is now issued with a daily set of scrubs, which we can reuse again and again, saving the hospital lots of money, which we can now spend on not management consultants, patient care. So the entire staff of our laundry department has recently gone on strike. They're asking for something called holiday pay, so please bear with us if the quality of our cleaning is temporarily less than satisfactory. So yes, I don't know whether you want to look upon that as a satire or a commentary upon our medical services. So anyway, you've got the introduction explaining about basically what the game is about. You do have a safety warning, so it says stay safe, because obviously this game intentionally puts you in a depressing place where depressing things to happen at the hospital. Now the thing is, you can have good outcomes, of course, in hospitals. Of course, you want good outcomes, people being healed, treated, and allowed to return to their lives and carry on as normal. But tragedies do happen, so it does carry that warning. And of course, the other thing to bear in mind is within those stories, which basically, both the good and the bad is scope for storytelling and dramatic events. So, list of what you need, which is an hour to play, something to write on, something to write with, means of tracking time, and this is a candle to light, or an old set of scrubs and a hospital incinerator. You're going to go with a candle, because unless you actually work in a hospital, you're really not going to have access to either scrubs or a hospital incinerator. Although if you want to do a LARP version of this, and play this game sat in your hospital scrubs, that's entirely up to you. So you set up with getting started, and here you describe what the hospital is like. What's the hospital like? What are the staff like? What are the patients like? What are the scrubs like? Because they are the key to they are essentially what you'll be role playing through. Now draw your scrubs, and then how to play, explanation of different acts, the wearers who will change, and each wearer leaves a mark upon you. Essentially, it's just, the mark will be essentially sort of like the day-to-day wear, but also the emotional wear of what you encounter as the wearer goes about their day-to-day existence in the hospital, whether that's in the patient's, as a patient lying in the bed, a nurse moving from patient to patient, or a doctor giving treatment. Rests, and you can use, and this is basically randomization, you can use pick or choose or roll on the tables. So you've got different acts. So in Act 1 you are shiny, new and clean, and that will essentially colour how you are reacted to and what you're playing. So you could be a porter, a patient, a nurse, a doctor, and then Act 2 is when you are worn in. You're no longer new. No one is excited to pick you up, but neither are they disappointed. You are unremarkable, as is much of life, and to some degree, your wearers are aware of this. And again, you're answering questions about each of these roles. Act 3 is when you are worn out. You are old, used up. It's likely you're tatty, dirty, smelly, or many other unpleasant adjectives. No one wants to wear you anymore. You're worn because they have no choice, running late, distracted, or simply there are no better scrubs available. So, you answer the questions depending upon the wearer you've chosen. So whether it's the patient, a nurse, a doctor, or a security guard. So these change, and in Act 1, it was a patient, a nurse, a doctor, or a porter. In Act 2, it was a nurse, a patient, a doctor, and a visitor. For hygiene reasons, visitors have been told to wear scrubs. Have they ever worn scrubs before? Act 3 includes the security guard. And then the end. Incineration. You are thrown into the hospital's incinerator and burnt. And then essentially you have a moment to reflect upon your existence as a set of scrubs, what you've witnessed, and hopefully the good that you've brought whilst being worn, as it were. And then you basically covering periods, also covering rest, how long that is, whether it's a long time, between being worn, illnesses you face, clinical procedures you will, your wearer will address, conduct, and so on, and that's really it. A bit of an advert at the end, but yeah, this is a storytelling game, about life in a hospital, but not seen through the eyes of whom you would expect, whether that's patients, doctors, nurses, porters, security guards, or even visitors. In fact, it's actually seen through the eyes of something that doesn't have eyes, which is a set of scrubs. So it's an odd sort of like depersonalised kind of view. As I say, that sense of at once being kind of there in the action, but removed from it. There's a sort of slight disconnect to it. But I mean that disconnect gives sort of room for the player, the person sort of like reflect, writing the journal and the story of this set of scrubs, to sort of like have time and space to reflect upon what's going on in front of this set of scrubs as they are being worn. Anyway, so it's got a slightly cartoony feel to it in terms of its look, but I think it's quite an interesting and thoughtful game. One to sit down and play, I think, on the odd occasion. and experience. You know, it's making you think about what goes on perhaps in an environment you don't normally think about. So yeah, that's a set of Scrubs by CM Lowry, published by Beyond Cataclysm Games. I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box containing a book or game, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do hit the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.